Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series Summer Split 2017. We just got back from that intense, explosive first game between Infuse and Imperium Pro Team, and now we're going to see if Infuse can take back a win from IPT. We'll be your shoutcasters for that second game. I'm Atlas. With me is Rockhart. How was that last game, Rockhart?
That's right, and that last game was an absolute thrill to cast. We were giving so much discrepancies between the teams, but in the end, we saw that both teams really had the tools to take it. It could have gone either way. It was a coin flip.
Yeah, definitely. Just the first match we have for today in our schedule, already very, very explosive. We'll see what other matches we have for today. First match we're in right now, Infuse Esports versus Imperium Pro Team. After that will be Jengski Esports versus the sister team of IPT, Team Manila Eagles. As for match 3, final match of the day to close it out, it's going to be Mineski League of Legends versus TNC Pro Team. It's definitely going to be very exciting to see all of these matches, seeing as this is the last week of the group stages of the PGS. So definitely all the standings are going to matter a lot more. So if we look at the scores for each of our teams, it's definitely close for the top 4.
That's right, and Team Manila Eagles will stay on that top.
Yeah,
right now, the battles that we're going to be facing here is between IPT securing that second seed spot, and of course we also want to look at how the teams from the bottom will pan out. We have TNC wanting to go for that playoff spots, and of course Mineski heading off in that first.
Definitely Mineski and AEX are really poised to take that 3rd and 4th seed, but of course TNC, they have a match later. They also have a match tomorrow, so that might actually change depending on Mineski and AX's performance.
That's right. The performances of both teams that are above TNC right now is going to matter so much, because if either of them gets 2-0 or 0-2, that's going to spell so much for the chances of TNC, wherein you have a game today and you also have a game tomorrow against AEX, that is. So AEX kind of has a bit of an upper hand here, but they are both very close, and we'll see how it pans out.
At the moment one of those teams falters, that's TNC's chance to just swoop down from the sky and then take away that playoff spot. But of course, we talked about the Guess That Pro promo earlier, and they're definitely getting the details for you. There will be shown details about a pro player and a silhouette as well. Basically, one summoner who gets that right, only one summoner, one lucky summoner who gets it right, will be getting the skin that pro player used last. So if last time they used Postfire Caitlyn, they'll be getting Postfire Caitlyn. If you get a 250 skin like Warring Kingdoms Jarvan, you will be getting Warring Kingdoms Jarvan. So of course, before we get into the drafting phase, let's look at that Guess That Pro we have for this game. Of course, it's going to be very exciting, you know.
I like that, because these teams are going to be a bit pressured because they know the promo is going on, and they're going to be like, my friends are probably pinging me.
Off.
My account is probably getting picked, saying, hey, pick this legendary pick the legendary skin right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I kind of like that, and that gives summoners a bit more of a concrete example of what they're going to win instead of the usual mystery gifts that we have. It's going to show you that this is actually what you're going to win. And you guys just tune in. You have to really know well what you're asking. And here we go.
So let's see. Guess That Pro. That's a silhouette if you know the hairstyle. It's actually pretty unique that has this hairstyle. And the clue is known for his off-meta picks. 2, played 3 roles this split. Very versatile player. And 3, former PGS champion. Just go to the Google Docs, Google Forms link shown below the screen. And fill out the form and then completely answer the question correctly. And you might get the chance to win the skin that this pro player last used.
That's right. A former PGS champion, clue number 3.
So that really narrows down everything.
How many teams?
And also off-meta picks.
That's right. And he's currently playing right now.
Yeah.
So he has to be playing right now, guys. So no former champions that are not playing today. So it's very
really narrows it down. But the thing is, with Guess That Pro, it really encourages using some more powerful picks. Like, you know, in pro play, a lot more consistent, reliable picks are given out. Definitely. So we're going to see Infuse calculated. It really narrows it down. Former PGS champion, formerly AEX, played 3 roles this time. So we've always talked about how versatile Calculated is, and his off-meta picks, of course, coming from AEX, that is kind of a given. We saw last game, he picked up the Akali mid, which is not something you usually see in pro play.
Super off-meta, right? I mean, who picks Akali in competitive plays, even in international scenes? No one. So Calculated, one of the very first to pick this out, and he was able to make it work at some points. He was able to sustain the dives against Cassiopeia and the rest of IPT.
Yeah, surprisingly did well in the matchup despite my expectations coming to the game.
Yeah.
We'll be seeing if that is let through here in the second game. I think IPT will just be going for the usual reliable bans instead of banning out any weird picks that Calculated might have. So Ari and Gragas manned away. Of course, Infuse is going to be scared of that Jarvan and Caitlyn combination.
And I think Infuse, they kind of felt the power that Ivalice has on this Jarvan. They blocked it out off the gate.
It's a very good reactive ban from last game.
Exactly. Despite us saying that Ivalice might have not built tank right away, he was able to make it work. And he was able to get in the ganks. And speaking of ganks, though, this is something that should have been probably banned out in the first half. This is a Zac. If someone picks that out, especially in the hands of Ivalice, this is going to spell disaster for Infuse.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong about Infuse being reactive in their banning.
The banning,
you know,
right.
like, okay, this absolutely wrecked us last game. Let's ban it in the second game. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to be careful about letting the blue team, the team that is playing on blue side, pick something with priority. But of course, they might have expected them to go for the Zac because they are probably going to lock in this Poppy.
That's
if
right.
they lock in the Poppy top, that's a lot of power from the Zac taken away.
That's right. The power of Zac that you were talking about, getting into the lanes and being able to demolish the laner that you're ganking, that's going to be taken away because of Poppy. The amount of sustain that he can do on lane and the protection that he has. Again, with the steadfast presence, it'll help so much in nullifying the ganks of Ivalice up top.
Yeah, definitely. And as well, coming into the skirmishes and team fights into the mid and late game, that means it's going to be much harder for Ivalice to get onto Lyre, especially if they lock in Janna as well. It's just, I think Infuse right now, they expect the Zac to be locked in. They also, it's very unexpected that Dr. Mundo got locked in actually. I was not expecting to see Dr. Mundo at all this split.
Yeah, because we've been seeing that pro teams are opting into hard engage champions. Yeah. If they do pick champions that will go top, if they want to go tanky top, they will pick hard engage like Nautilus or Poppy or these picks. But somehow, I think IPT has that some sort of composition wherein they want to make a very mobile composition. And of course, Mundo very mobile. If you compound that with a Karma,
involved in that.
That's right. That's a problem. And I think Karma is going to help with that issue.
Yeah, just go straight in very, very fast. Looking at the composition,
wow, this
is very strong coming from IPT, but Infused is no slouch as well. They have a lot of disengage tools with the Pandor's ultimate,
right,
as well as the Monsoon coming from Sachi. If things go wrong, Calculated going for the Annie, very unconventional, very simple champion, but very powerful if used correctly.
Again, Annie, we have not seen much in the pro play,
definitely
because of his the reliance on the meta, wherein he's not as bursty as he was a few patches before, so that's why teams are not picking into him. But you could expect Annie to be really good in the middle of the games where he can proc those ultimate stuns. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
AoE stun.
That's
and then
right.
Even when Calculated dies, that's still a Tibbers very, very angry running at you.
And
I mean, to be fair, Annie can be used to climb the ladder.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it.
We have seen it.
We have seen it. There's also Annie bot who is high elo, one trick Annie. So we might be seeing Calculated have something very, very powerful in that mid lane. Of course, we'll be seeing how all this plays out once we get into the Rift. Alright, we are loaded onto Summoner's Rift. We're going to see if Infuse can take away a clean sweep from IPT, or will this be a 2-0 in this match between IPT, Imperium Pro Team, versus INF, Infuse Esports. Definitely going to be very exciting as Infuse has their backs to the wall. They definitely want to have a better seating in the bottom four there. So definitely something that they want to be able to take seriously.
That's right. And of course, IPT has that, again, this very mobile composition that is actually ideal for early level ones if they could pull that off. It was really great because you have the Karma for the speed boost, and you already have champions which are innately mobile in the form of Corki and Vayne. So it's overall it's really good composition, and I think they want to get into this death ball situation wherein you have really strong poke from Corki and Vayne. Compound that, of course, Karma is a given.
Karma, yeah, definitely.
Poke.
And the cleavers are no slouch either.
Exactly. So that's what I think that's what IPT wants, this rolling composition. On the other side, the coin down we have Infused, who wants more of a set-based and also safe lineup, wherein, of course, if you combine the Poppy with the Janna, that's safe lanes altogether.
But the fact is, they can engage very, very hard as well with a burst coming from XDXP on that Graves and calculated as well. They can definitely go in and go ham. But if something goes wrong, they have that safety switch. Press that button, Monsoon,
That's right.
or the Poppy ultimate, definitely get out of dodge.
That's right. My concern though for this composition of Infuse is the range.
Yeah,
the range that every lane has to deal with. They have the best that they can do is have the Ezreal poke out. But if they start getting into sieges, they will not be able to siege very well.
Yeah, it's very dangerous here because most of their waves will come from the Graves and the Annie.
And they do that up close and personal.
It's very dangerous if Kate gets a few free hits in, if Light's able to dodge their own form of poke and then retaliate with his Rocket Barrage.
Which has a very low cooldown.
Look at that. Light
Speaking of poke,
really trying to get onto Calculated. Make sure he doesn't have a good time there in the mid lane on that Annie.
yeah, I would expect Ivalice to start going bot lane as soon as possible because I expect Pandars to be relatively safe on that tower. Right now, XDXP opting to get
Nice
blue jungle
steal.
and start to top.
Nice steal, definitely. And there's no ward here for the top lane, so Suzaku might be in a little
Kinda
trouble.
risky.
Definitely has to flash over, dodges the end of the line very nicely, and flashes behind his minions too.
That's an easy burn from Ivalice. Not from XDXP. Not even using any skill
He has
at
to walk
all.
up there.
Yeah, he just had to
by
walk
Graves,
in.
gang.
You just got gangstered by Graves. He should be using the gangster skin.
Yeah, the
But
Mafia skin might have been pretty good there. Full party though. Spending a lot of time at the river. So
Right.
very appropriate being able to just gank around these curling paths around the jungle.
Right.
Oh man, that's definitely very, very fast but calculated. Ignite onto Light, but here comes Ivalice. Smashes them together, but I don't think there's enough follow-up from that. Light is way too low to help him out. But is Light surviving? Burning 3 summoner spells.
That's right. That's not something you
Or
want to
Infuse,
do
yeah.
right now in the side of Infuse because you burn summoners for a non-sure kill. That's kind of risky. They could have had the rewards from it, but I think they're kind of aware that they need to scale faster than IPT if they want to win. That's why they are opting for these very
It's
risky
very
plays.
scary because if they don't shut down the Dr. Mundo, the Corki, and the Vayne, it's going to be very difficult. And the thing here is, it's also very hard for Infuse spot lane. Because having Janna means you're forced into a more reactive position in the bot lane compared to Vayne, who in going for a lot of these trades here very, very aggressively. Might fight them in the back, however. Shadow trying to body block for his AD carry. He'll burn on the side of Kate, trying to escape from Liar, but in the end, picks up the kill. Definitely not what I was expecting, because Janna usually very, very passive, but there, Shadow and Hate were playing very, very forward.
I think they kind of heard what you said there, and Liar being really pumped up by that performance that he had previous game, opts to go in, no fear at all, and with the trust from Sachi, he will get that kill.
Definitely. Very impressive that knowing the limits of the champion, just dive in there. Their cooldowns are kind of burnt, so Liar just goes in there. Getting the Eye of the Storm AD value means that Kate definitely feels the pain.
That's right.
But of course, in any other situation, if they weren't able to exploit that weakness, otherwise it would have to be IPT doing the aggressive moves because they have the karma.
That's right. I think if you see a replay of that, actually, you will see that Hate was going into position because, of course, Vayne very dependent onto positioning.
Yes.
And it's just that Sachi was able to disrupt that, and that's what we're gonna see all game. Sachi, Hate trying to go for the kill, and just basically Sachi disrupting your positioning, and that's gonna throw you off balance.
Yeah, I really think Hate and Shadow, instead of trying to all in and onto Liar, get those really good trades out, because they have a really good opportunity every time to go for a successful trade.
Right.
I think they should be pushing Liar and Sachi in, because what wave clear does this bot lane have?
That's right, and that's the advantage.
Oh,
A
there's gonna be a
TP
teleport here for the mid lane. It's gonna be Ivalice. That's right. Ivalice gets stunned actually, but Pandar's might be going for it. Good flash to avoid heroic charge.
Yeah, flash for flash there for Pandars and Ivalice. That's gonna stop
Teleport,
a lot,
though.
and that's a wasted teleport. That's a wasted flash, and that's position, and that left your bot lane a bit vulnerable as well as the top.
Big wave in the top lane. Of course, XP will catch this, but this is a lot of time that Infused jungler is revealed. That's a lot of information for IPT.
Yeah, so far Infuse burning so much, but also gaining a lot in terms of global gold. You'll be surprised that they're already 700 gold above Infuse, and that's not even counting the amount of pressure that they're providing. Because at this point, you should give the early game to Light, right? Because he has the better range and for Calculated, but right now he's just a tad below Annie. Somehow he's not getting the advantage that he should be having.
Yeah, definitely still has to ramp up onto the Triforce, and he did go for the call instead of going for a more offensive item. So definitely when the trades come, Calculated will wreck him, going for the double Dorans here for survivability and mana sustain.
Yeah.
So going for the long game here.
That's right.
Knowing,
also
realizing their win conditions. Okay, let's chill in the early game.
Yeah.
And then later we can wreck face. We have 280 carries.
Yeah, they kind of realize that they're not going to be able to pull off too many kills with the safety that Infused has. So I think they realized that they should default into CS mode, because you see that right now, catching up on CS, both the bot and the mid. So, and the top, everyone's catching up on CS right now, and they realize that's where their win is going to be.
This is definitely fine. This kind of slow gameplay comes from IPT. It's definitely not something that they don't want, because they can just play the long game, very, very slow, the long war.
Right.
And Infuse will get antsy, because this is a very explosive composition that Infuse has.
Yeah, right now. That's why they're trying to go for plays like this.
Tibbers onto Light. He has no mana. He has no flash as well. Will they go for the dive? Tibbers tanking a lot of damage. But look at that. Tower aggro onto the Summoner. So Calculated has to back off from that. Is that a signal for the bot lane? No, just a little bit of a signal for IPT to get a little more push in.
Yeah, that's why, like what we were talking about, that's why Infuse is trying to go into these plays, because they know that they need to take these advantages early on.
Definitely, and it seems to not be working out too much. Of course, they're pushing IPT into a reactive state now. This is good for them in the way that it prevents IPT from making a lot of proactive moves, but IPT doesn't seem to be wanting to go for these proactive maneuvers anyway.
That's right, because they kind of just want to... Every time that Infuse is going to go in, they're just going to pull back and reset. Yeah. And they have the ability to do that.
Regroup, recuperate, just have that light of the torch with them, guide them to the path. And of course, every time the XP wants to go for a gank, Ivalice is around the corner. Very good pathing on the side of this stat. Even though his blue buff did get stolen, his pathing still was able to match that of XP and get a lot of counter ganks up.
That's
so
right.
Very, very good on the side of Ivalice.
That's kind of what you need to do as a Zac anyway, because and that also shows why he should be back, right? Because even if he gets a bit below, he can catch up because of just the raw damage that he puts out. So right now in the bot.
Shadow. There's no CC come from Infuse, but it might make up for it in sheer damage. Ooh. Collateral damage, not enough. Here comes a 3-man gang onto the top lane. Panthers, will he be able to escape with that ultimate?
So both teams trying to go for the respect. Oh, they're not done.
They're still going for it. Infuse goes for the signal to continue to dive. Liar might be in trouble here, but they have enough of the numbers advantage. Of course, this is a signal for Suzaku to go down to the bot lane. Seems like Infuse is not phased, however, still going for it. Red buff onto XP actually just expired, means that Calculated.
Someone went for a dive there.
Solo dive to the bot lane. Gets a kill onto Hate, but rather, Calculated got killed first, and then there was a Tibbers revenge that got Hate. I do think that in the end, it might have been more worth for IPT.
Yeah, we should see a replay of this. Again, that's the reason why IPT is trying to get into the game. They just need gold. And meanwhile, Infuse is playing for more of the pressure. And we'll see on that replay where
I think this is going to be by the book here, how Calculated plays this.
Yeah.
Go straight for the flash play. Oh, very nice! Tumble coming from Hate.
Right, and because of that, just because of that, just because of presence of mind of calculated, he was able to detect that, and he was able to foresee that he will be able to get the kill. That's calculated.
Definitely.
Ryan's his name.
That's calculated. That's calculated.
Right. So yeah, again, IPT kind of getting the head there because they want that kill on the Vayne. They also want to scale him up faster than the Ezreal because we can expect the Ezreal to kind of just have that ability to play safe on the farm, but IPT kind of realizes that and they're going for it.
Definitely a quick shift of gears definitely allows them to take advantage of when Liar is alone. They try and go for him as soon as Sachi arrives. Look at this. I love the Mundo pick. It's like they predicted that Fuse would predict that they would go for the Zac. So in response to the Poppy, they went for the went for the Blocker Mundo, which is a great pick actually, because if you think about it, yeah, because Mundo does not have a dash.
Yeah, that's right, and because Mundo can burn through that Poppy percent, the passive for Poppy, where he blocks 50% of burst. So if you have a Poppy on the enemy, you want someone who has sustained damage.
Yeah, definitely. And Mundo, with his own percent health damage, with his stickiness, and his sustainability against the Poppy, definitely a good tech pick. The mind game starting from the drafting phase themselves. Wow, this
high level, right? High level mindset.
High level. It is good for Infuse to predict the Zac. Okay, first pick the Zac. Let's respond with a Poppy. But then IPT pulls a fast one on them and picks the Mundo.
And we were actually a bit skeptical of on the Mundo pick, but on hindsight, it's really working so well right now.
Yeah, Andors cannot fight back, no matter how many times he tries to fight Suzaku, because Suzaku deals a lot of mixed damage.
Right, and because of that, dude, CS. Yeah, 40 above for Mundo.
And the sustain as well. Both of them have grass, but Suzaku is going to build more health. And the fact that is, no matter how much armor Panurge builds, and Suzaku still deals a lot of magic damage on the side. Yeah, so it's definitely hard to itemize defensively against the Mundo.
I like that Suzaku knows when to pick up these Mundo picks, when to use them. Even though it is a really high pressure situation, he was able to pick it up even though it's not picked as often.
Yeah, look at that. Even with a Corrupting Potion, Panurge is going to get pushed in. Might be a fight here in the bot lane. No, it's a little bit of trade. Liar cannot take that fight too much.
Ooh.
The F-Sword already on Haze. Manamune completed on Liar, but still needs to charge that up.
Yeah, we'll see the bot lane maybe have more time to charge up. I expect that to happen maybe within the 19 or 20 minute mark. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, it's just an even fight. And I like that Light is able to catch up, and he's now ahead. And he kind of knows that his advantages also will lie once he gets that Triforce. Although, because of the amount of aggression that Calculated is giving out, he's now forced to build defensively in the form of a Hex Drinker.
Hex Drinker will help a little bit.
Yeah,
but I'm worried because Triforce is already a very expensive item.
Right, and you want to build it later.
Yeah. I have doubts about delaying the build, but he might even just opt to complete his other items first instead of going for the Triforce straight up. We'll be seeing once he's back. He does have a lot of builds. Who want minions for the call?
Oh, he is going for that Triforce.
Yeah, he's going for the Triforce. A little bit delayed.
Right.
But he has been surviving for so long.
And once he gets these items, though, he's going to start getting ahead. I expect that.
I expect that.
Unless XDXP has something to say about it, that is.
Yeah, XDXP definitely needs to put a lot more pressure. It's very hard when you keep getting counter-ganked by Ivalice, and Suzaku will be teleporting as well. Both of these top laners do have teleport. Might be preparing for the Drake fight, of course. XDXP setting up, denying the Blast Cone. Definitely their game plan here, because this is definitely going to be a very good composition to have the mountain.
Right.
Very fast tower pushing.
And the ranges. That was what I was talking. Sorry, that was what I was talking about earlier, where you have a composition which has good range. If they get the Mountain Drake, it's gonna be colossal. It's gonna result in Rift Herald going down in record time.
Package here, but Hate might be in trouble because of that burst skill. He's still exhausted. Flashes over the Tornado. Liar now has to find another target. Flashes in, actually takes out Hate. But now it's going to be Suzaku. Might be getting a double kill here. Sachi no longer has any damage, but Calculated might be there to finish the job. Oh man, dodges the machete. He's going to be a double kill for Suzaku. It's going to be a 2v1 if no one arrives for this top laner of IPT. XDXP going to make it a 3v1. Gonna get some hot pursuit here onto this very tanky top laner, but I think with Rift Herald being somebody, have to rotate to another objective.
Wow, that was a great 2 for 2, and both teams were super dedicated into making that work. Somehow, even Liar, even though he was super out of position for most of that time, sorry, even if he was kind of getting into fights that he didn't want. Oh, God.
Okay, does not get kidnapped, but I think Ivolis has to run away from that.
God. Like I said, Liar super in position. He's right now trying to fight off the Rift Herald play, and that's gonna be sure.
Might be in trouble though. He's gonna try elastic slingshot, not even. He's going for the plan. Pandas will try to go for a pursuit. Suzaku will be frontlining for his team. Just very clean. Get 2 towers. Get out. And look at that. Even gets a little bit of chip damage onto the mid lane.
Shipping damage here. And that's macro mindset for IPT. They know that they don't need to take the fight. That's why they opted to disengage, and because of that, they are now in the lead. And that's what you want as well for this composition. You want that poke to hurt. You want, and you'll be able to do that, especially again. I want to emphasize this dragon is super important, and I really think that IPT should start moving down there really soon.
Yeah, IPT had to regroup after retreating. That was an opportunity for Infuse to get the mountain.
And somehow they did not.
I do not know why they did not go for it. Because Ivolis was on the retreat. He didn't have flash anymore, and I don't think he'd be willing to elastic slingshot for the miracle steal.
In fairness to IPT, I think they, in fairness to Infuse, I think the reason why they didn't do that is because they're kind of not on top of their ward game around the dragon pit. That's why they maybe kind of thought, hey, maybe we can wait until we get someone. We can make a pick before we go for it. That's the safer route to take. And although again, we kind of can say these things because we can see the fog through the fog, but they can't.
That's true.
So
but
that's
they
the
do
reason.
have a deep ward.
Yeah, that singular deep ward could have actually prompted them to. It could have been a signal to go for Dragon. It's just that the shot calling.
For it now, though.
Yeah, now they're gonna go for it.
Establish some control here with a scuttle grab and a bonus ward there just to be safe.
And that, of course, that's IPT also knowing that they need to secure this as well. That they know that they need this, right? And that just choking out Vision is giving so much on them in the side of red, because first of all, Infuse has a hard time getting those wards in. So isa na yun. Aside from that, they will also need to be careful because they can get engaged on by Zac at the moment. That's why they're super scared to get those wards in place. And IPT is capitalizing.
Yeah, definitely. We saw last season actually, how a lack of vision can be deadly against a Zac, and it seems like Infuse erred on the side of safety and wisdom. So still, delaying this Mountain Drake means that neither team gets that bonus. IPT, if they get that Mountain Drake, is going to be very scary with 280 carries and a Dr. Mundo, but if Infuse gets it, Triforce attacks onto
Ivolis.
Here comes going to be Ivolis, frontlining for his team, just kidnaps Zachi. He's going to disengage for Infuse, so let's bring him to us.
The kidnap over the wall for the main disengager.
Let's
bounce over the wall. I like that, and that's exactly what IPT needs to do. So instead of Infuse going for the pick, IPT takes it, and they can have more chance to get into that Dragon Pit, although they are now opting to go topside.
They might dive onto Pandars. Pandars has to know that something is up, but he's still sticking around. Maybe Calculated is enough to scare IPT off, but this is just going to set up a very good siege from IPT, though they do not have their AD carry. Their mid laner is there, and it has the Triforce ready.
Ooh, minions flying.
Minions flying.
Now
Still has the cannon minions, but it does scare away the siege.
That's right. So that's basically gonna waste the time.
Yeah, free push
4 laners. And yeah, free push or hate, although that will take so much resource to set up again, I don't think IPT will start that anytime soon.
Yeah, definitely. But a lot of free time for hate there in the bot lane. He catches up a little bit on the CS and might get a lot of damage here. Calculated, gonna rotate down to the bot lane. It doesn't seem like IPT will be too greedy. See, as soon as Calculated goes down the river, they catch it out. Seems like hate though still sticking around just in case Calculated does not continue the rotation.
That's right. So both top laners building super defensively, and that's exactly what they need to do. With Mundo just eking out a small lead, but he does have that Spirit Visage. That is definitely a core item. He will be able to start engages if he chooses though, and they both have teleport.
Oh man, the greediness from Hate actually, and the patience
from
there
Calculated.
But the teleport comes from Suzaku might actually deter this gank. Good response from Suzaku, scares that little girl away.
Wow, if that was Poppy instead of Suzaku, if that was Pandars instead of Suzaku, that would have spelled differently. But Pandars chose not to respond. They will have to fight it under the tower.
This will be a very good siege, but as of this moment, Infuse has still very decent wave clear. They have to be in shorter range, but this actually puts IPT in a position to try and make this not a great thing. It very, very quickly actually. With 8 dealing that percent of damage with the silver balls. Let's see if Suzaku actually keeps going forward. Suzaku activates his ultimate here, going straight forward. Here comes the package. Light has to move away, but here comes Ivolus and the rest of IPT. He's alone now, does not get a kidnap onto anyone. But seems like the fight will just reset. Pandars cancels his ultimate.
Yeah, that's great. So Infuse knows that IPT had a plan. They kind of made their own call towards it. So they called everyone to back off, and that nullified so much of IPT's aggression.
This might be a turret trade, which is still in favor of IPT, and this is very much faster than any push that Pandars can have alone. And so this is 4 members.
Yeah, that's right. 4 members. Definitely, that's going to be a turret. And we see that Pandars is trying to do something, make something work on top, and he knows that he's kind of safe because he sees 4 members of IPT on the bot. But let's see, what will IPT do after this, knowing that their Corki is on top?
And the blue buff will be stolen away. Actually,
so
it will
much.
be smited by XDXP. Very good, but it is denied from Calculated. Now look at that, all that time invested by Pandars in the top lane still did not get a turret. Because Poppy, yes, she has very good wave clear with a Sunfire Cape as well. But when it comes to the actual turret, she just plops.
That's right, and we also have Light there, who is very much open to counter you. So you're not going to be able to do anything much. So that was kind of wasted effort.
Yeah,
although
the fact is, Pandars cannot really dual Light because he's building all armor.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
what does Light have? Half magic, actually more magic than physical. He might
speaking
have
of Light,
a little bit of danger here with Calculated in the fray. Means that Light, it's not a duel, it's a 1v2.
Great response there from the former champion. Calculated, he was able to just walk in, and that's because of Light. He was not in a position to do anything, and they did not have vision to pull off anything, so I'm not sure why they were opting for that.
Definitely, a little bit of a overconfidence there, and IPT, they are ahead in the power spike as well, but they have to remind themselves. Confidence is a slow in the city's killer, so are these 2 tanks, but look at the speed that they take out this Annie.
Wow, that is a revenge there from IPT. They kind of pulled off exactly what Calculated did there, and that's
Revenge
exactly
2v1.
mid for mid.
That's some dramatic irony here in the top lane. Of course, Shadow has 2, but defends mid lane against 3 or 2. And the fact is, yeah, IPT, that is one of the few mistakes that Infuse can take advantage of to try and eke out these advantages and get Liar and XXP ahead.
Yeah, I like
Calculated as well.
I like that Liar is kind of being really proactive in these games.
Very proactive.
And he's super fired up. He's not done with his streak from the past game. Even though they did end up giving the win over to IPT, they still gave us such a great fight. And I think that's going to also carry over to this game.
Momentum, even though they didn't get the win last game, it's that morale that you have. You're fired up. It wasn't a terrible game. Game 1 was not a terrible game.
Right.
It was very good for Infuse, but in the end, IPT got it. But here, Infuse is bringing that morale here to the second game, which is a great mindset to have for a pro team.
That's right. And that's exactly what happened last game, wherein that wasn't a stomp. It wasn't a one-sided at all. I mean, Liar, they were in a position to ace everyone and start shoving in the mid. It's just that Hate is in his hyper carry mode, and I think he also wants to start that on the Vayne. It's just that's why he's over on the bot pretty much all game.
Really? Power farming.
Yeah, power farming. It's been so you haven't seen Light anywhere near the top or the mid. It's because he knows that he's Vayne. He wants to get the proccing and the scaling properly because he knows he can. He becomes this kind of assassin Vayne, where in the late game, right?
Crits just hurt.
Yeah.
Plus, he is very sustainable as well with a Vampire Scepter. But something that IPT has to remember is that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. The
Right.
thing here is the fact that Light was going for Pandars means that they have that bit of confidence in them that
Despite
okay, we
not
don't have
having
vision,
vision,
we can
yeah.
still take on Pandars, and then Calculated shows up and then wrecks him. So that's something that they have to really keep in mind, is that don't get too cocky and put down a lot of vision here. You're seeing that the vision from the side of IPT isn't very stellar, actually. They have very good river vision, but at this point, there's not a lot of objectives to get there on that side of the map.
Yeah, both teams definitely not in position to make Baron plays at all right now, but they could be maybe in the next 4 to 5 minutes. We'll see.
I like how Infuse is warding. It's all pretty defensive on their top side. Vision wards all over. And this actually means that IPT cannot make the same aggressive plays that they've been making top lane and mid lane.
That's right.
And
they have learned their lesson.
They have learned their lesson, which
Yes.
is great.
And that gold lead, I expect it to slim down anytime soon because of the split push tower that IPT has and Infuse is countering.
Pandars cannot fight Suzaku at all. The sadism and masochism coming from this Dr. Mundo means that even if he's building full tank, he deals a lot of damage in duels.
That's right. And he can be that front line that you can rely on, even though he does not have like really super hard CC. Again, we know that IPT has this win condition wherein they want to go into death ball mode.
Yeah, death ball mode.
And we have the Mundo that is very capable of doing that.
Just being able to get a really solid push into and charge in with the inspiring shield coming from Shadow. That's just gonna be a very scary sight for Infuse, having a flagellant Dr. Mundo going forward, masochism and sadism activated. Very scary, and behind all that, it's going to be Light and Hate dealing so much damage. Shadow giving the utility, and Ivalice being a frontline disruptor as well. While Infuse, they still have... this is very scary because they can scale up very well with 2 carries, but IPT has the same thing. Plus, they have a really divey composition here. They do have a lot of tools, though.
That's right, and we see that Hate is very well equipped to do this. And now they want to go for something.
I don't think Ivalice has enough targets to actually get that slam from the stretching strikes. He's still looking. Suzaku as well, right around the corner.
And they're just going for the dragon play here.
This is going to be huge value in the objective game for IPT. Look at how quickly they get it. And how fast they get this Mountain Drake will be even faster once they get to a turret or even Baron.
Yeah, this is IPT knowing their win conditions, knowing the strengths of their composition. They got the second Drake, and that's gonna just multiply the damage that they're already doing into these objectives even further.
Yeah,
and now they're very much capable of going Baron if they're able to get the vision.
And Light just freely using the pack. Ooh, Hate. As I said,
Hate
overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. And Infuse is able to find an opening in IPT's defense. Able to perfect kill onto Hate. Now he's 1-4-2. Definitely has been very good at power farming.
Yeah, on the side of Infuse though, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to make the picks that your composition is made of. You have the Annie to do that, and they were able to execute.
Taking advantage of Hate being dead now. Means that Infuse might have few more tools to play around with. They might go for the Baron play. There is no package available for Light. He did use it top lane.
Yeah, red carpet is not in play. But now I think they still want to go Baron regardless.
There's no one to respond to this except Suzaku, and he can't do much by himself. Shadow might go for something. Look at how much damage he's dealing to Calculated. He does not have flash to escape. That Monsoon might actually save him just in time for the Baron. Suzaku might still go for something. Baron is destroyed, taken down. Here comes Ival, is still going for it. Lots of damage. Kidnapped. That jungler. Here comes Hate for the cleanup. Gets exhausted almost immediately. Light as well, going to deal a lot of damage. Actually leaves his team behind. Pandars gets a kill onto Shadow. But this is going to be Sachi alone and cold while Hate cleans up the rest of Infuse. Wow.
Oh, Infuse there with the Baron, but at what cost? You only have the buff on the 2 members, and they're not even the ones that you need the buff on. Your waves are not optimally positioned to do so as well, because you already have IPT knocking on your front door.
And Suzaku played a huge part there. Even though he wasn't stealing the Baron, the fact that he was dealing so much damage and pressure on the Calculated means that Calculated is absolutely useless in the following fight. And because they were so distracted keeping Carl alive and trying to take Baron despite Shadow being around and Ivalice as well, that left enough time for Hate to just clean up house. And now he's 3-4-2, actually getting back strong into this mid-game.
Yeah, I kind of have to give props to Panthers. He was kind of on the Zach duty, you will see right here. But right now, Ivalis is kind of left alone, but they will rely on Hate, the positioning on that Hate. Even though he is exhausted, he's still able to get into a lot of members. And Light, of course, with that range, is going to be able to do the kill cleanup really easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, right there. The snipe there. Amazing play there from IPT. Knowing their limits and not losing too many members.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
Hard as well.
Yes,
even though they were wiped out, almost wiped out, they come back with a vengeance in the Baron pit. Very, very hotly served vengeance, actually. Just very quickly. Suzaku might be in trouble, but here's a Dr. Mundo. Look at him just ignoring all of that. He's enjoying the pain he's experiencing right now.
Getting whittled down really easily. And once that Warmog kicks in, look at the HP. Oh dear.
That is balanced. Riot, please.
Riot,
but it is very balanced, considering that there is a lot of counterplay to how much health Suzaku is regenerating. You can see the Mortal Reminder built onto Liar, Mordellonomicon built onto Carl. So there's a lot of ways you can prevent that absurd healing from happening.
That's right. And of course, we do have the rest of...
Yeah, they are going for it. Look at the damage onto Suzaku, half health, but he activates his ultimate
and
right
there
here.
you go again. It goes back on. It's not
It's
the
a vicious
Warmogs.
cycle.
You have to look at the cooldown of the Warmogs. When that goes in, as long as you have 3,000 or more health, it's going to put you on full within 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, and Calculated might be in trouble here. The Inspire Shield will boost up the speed, but I don't think it's enough. Calculated actually a very, very fast Annie here. Calculated still looking for something.
That's right. IPT showing that they have control. They are enforcing their lead all throughout the map.
Yeah.
And Fuse is just having a hard time.
Seems like Ivalis has a little bit of a few love taps between the Annie and the Zac. And the fact is, even though at this point of the game, 32 minutes, 4,000 gold lead is definitely small if you think about it.
Of course.
You,
at this point in the game,
divide it up between all the main carries, all the non-supports, it's very small at this point. It's like 1,000 each. But at this point, a lot of them have built their epic items. But it's the fact that 2 Mountain Drakes plus the map control, 5 turrets to 1 on Infuse means that the control IPT can exert across the map is definitely more steadfast.
That's right. And then the difficulty that Infuse is facing as well is because of the super tanky front lines of Suzaku and Ivalis.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super hard to get past them, and you can't just ignore them because they have super
They have damage
slow.
as well, and disruption.
Disruption
the
all
damage
over.
coming from the window. Look at this. He's just ignoring everything Infuse throws at him, still going for it. And now with no steadfast presence, it's going to be Ivalis going for it, but retreats a little bit. Just cool. Be cool. Be cool. There's Mountain Drake going to be spawning very, very soon. But they don't want to give that up. Give the opportunity for Infuse to get back into the game with the objectives.
Yeah, Riot is giving us so much Mountain Drakes this series, and I don't know. The Infernals are not making their appearance at all.
Infernal would be very helpful for Infuse.
That's right.
But if IPT got it, it will be very scary.
Yeah, these objectives definitely playing in the favor of IPT, and we see a jump there.
It's going to be a 2-man gang on the Calculated. There's a lot of damage coming from Light. Ivalis gets stunned down, but Shadow just there for a little bit of insurance. Very angry Tibber is going to try and take out the one who killed his prom queen, but gets taken down. Might be Suzaku paying the price, however. This is a Mundo that's undefatigable, but he's very fast. He can just get out of dodge very, very quickly. On all that time,
Level 3.
IPT got 3 Mountain Drakes.
Oh,
that's 30%.
dear. I kind of like, 30% damage objectives. I kind of like
damage.
True damage, exactly. And you kind of had to give props to Calculated. He was trying to buy time so that the rest of Infuse can maybe make a pick onto Suzaku, but they did not at all do damage. And because of that, IPT 3 Mountain Drakes. That's level 3 again, guys.
Now look at how quickly this falls.
Boom.
Look at that. This demolition job here for
Yeah.
IPT.
Oh dear.
Right now, the base of Infuse will become squalid and definitely in ruins after IPT is done with them. We'll see if Infuse can go for a last defense here, because it's going to be very hard for them, because they're going to lose a team fight in this stage of the game. They're going to lose the sieges, so they have to make a play that's very cunning.
That's right. And so far, the gates are shutting in front of Infuse right now. And they're just fighting to stop the poke from IPT, because every hit counts. in this game.
Might be
Oh, dear.
some fight here, but right now IPT is choking the life out of Infuse. They're not even taking the fight. Here comes Ivalis, though, gets stopped by the steadfast presence.
Oh, a bit too far though.
IPT is going to use this to get the inhibitor. Now Suzaku's in the middle of everyone. Look at that grievous wounds, but look at him regenerating so much health. The shield as well is keeping him alive. Ivalis, sliver of health, actually gets taken out. Now it's going to be Light against XDXP. Flashes over the wall to safety. Now I think it's going to be time for IPT to continue this, but it seems like they will be cool.
Yeah, they already got the inhibitor.
They got what they wanted.
Yeah. And wow, Infuse they're playing against the dance that IPT wants. They want to dance to and from, and they want to whittle down IPT, but it's just that
so hard.
Suzaku's regeneration, even though the grievous wounds are already applied, they're not doing damage at all.
The shields from Shadow as well, and
That's
the redemption heal, all of that just means Suzaku is so hard to kill. And of course, Ivalis survived for so long before dying there, allowing Kate and Light to just deal a lot of damage. Of course, Light almost died there.
Yeah, that was a sacrifice call for IPT. Hey, go dive in, and we'll take the inhibitor. You can die.
Yeah.
But that definitely nets better results.
Put a lot of pressure in the bot lane.
Right.
And because Baron is up, that is a bot lane pressure that's a lot more valuable for IPT. Now they have the tempo here. They can dictate the tune here in this Baron dance. They can dictate where both of these teams step in this Baron dance that they'll be having. And IPT is at an advantage here in terms of control.
Right. So Infuse definitely needs to pull off some miracle steal if they really want to make it still stay in this game.
Even after that, what are they going to do with the Baron?
Because, again, it's going to be very difficult for them because the waves are definitely against them. They do not have good wave control right now. Even if they get Baron, they will not be able to push in too much. But again, this is still any man's game. I think Infuse still has a chance to, if they make a pick, if they make a pick into essential members of IPT.
But at this point, IPT is not isolating themselves. They're grouping up as
the death ball.
Now look at how hard and fast they take this.
That was, wow, that was 7 seconds.
Not even a chance.
I can't believe it.
Like this. The win condition for Infuse is to kite away.
That's
Have a good disengage with the Poppy ultimate, with the Monsoon, but the fact is IPT can just come back.
Yeah,
they have the Inspire Shields, they have all the gap closers, they have all the speed boosts.
Yeah, that's the issue with the composition that they drafted. It's super disengaged, but you're kind of forgetting, how do we start the games after Annie has already used Tibbers? So that's kind of something that was left out of the planning, I think, and IPT is taking full advantage.
They're just ignoring the turret here. Suzaku is face tanking that. Look at how long he tanked that.
Everything. Oh dear.
He tanked that 100 to 0. And of course now he's at half health, but he's going to regenerate this once he gets out of combat.
Yeah, props to Shadow, props to Calculated trying to pick off Shadow. It's just that it's too tanky, man. The composition is so much.
Let's see if Infuse can actually will him down. And if Liar gets a few free hits onto Suzaku, look at the redemption just to pop him back off.
Good regeneration. Because of the amplifying effects of Mundo's health, even the regeneration from redemption heals so much.
And Liar definitely can deal a lot of damage, but the problem is actualizing that damage. Because Calculated can get one volley of stuns and then he's over.
Yeah.
And XDXP cannot deal any kind of CC. None of these are actually good healers except for Vanguard. So now I think it's going to be just slowly going for these turrets. Look at Ivalis. Suzaku half health, but he's still going for the XDXP. Gets kidnapped into the middle of IPT. Seems like Hate will just go for a straight up cleanup here. Pandar's trying to run away. But here comes Ivalis and Suzaku unrelenting in their pursuit. They'll still go for it.
That
Suzaku almost dying, however. This might be the time when he falls. He's still alive after all of that. And Suzaku is just going to keep regenerating that health. Look at that very, very quickly. The time for IPT to retreat has come.
Man.
Inhibitors down for the mid lane.
They worked so hard to whittle Suzaku down, and he's going to go 0 to 100 real quick.
He lives to die another day. He lives to
fight another day.
I don't think he's going to die anytime too.
Yeah, that must be hitting your morale if you're Infused right now. Suzaku is back in full right after you spent so much resources.
And that's going to be Elder Drake.
Definitely.
It's going to be very scary.
Suzaku does have teleport. It's safe to split push. And this is gonna give Infuse such a hard time.
Of course, they are positioning themselves, try and contest it. They don't want to give this up without a fight. They will die standing, sword in hand.
The last stand, ladies and gentlemen.
Both teleports are burned, but it might be Panners having to cancel that. Will be too dangerous. Signal for IPT to just go straight for it. Look at how fast they
are
hit this.
Just giving it away. They know that they cannot contest. And now IPT, knock, knock, knock.
Knocking on death's door here. Infuse has to make a play happen. It's going to be very difficult with IPT just going straight for the objectives with this hyper boosted 3 mountain break, and the Baron buff as well
I want to see
available.
the HP of this inhibitor and Nexus turret.
Look at that, Eyeball is just going to get... Look at the damage coming from Hank now that we've reached late game. Not even the stun gun from the Tibbers will be enough. It seems like he will just ignore the bot lane inhibitor, just go straight for the kills. Let's bounce. Eyeball is go straight for it, but with
Suzaku,
Suzaku tanking the fountain. 4 shots from the fountain. Enough for him to still be alive. And it's going to be IPT still cleaning up the turrets here.
The disrespect from Suzaku.
They're just trapping Infuse inside their own summoning platform. And look at that, they're not even dealing damage.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's just IPT securing and cementing the lead against Infuse. That is going to be game right now.
Futile last defense from Infuse seals the deal. The last nail onto their forsaken coffin here. IPT with a 2-0.
That's right. So wow, IPT playing to their advantages. They made this composition, and like I said, they pulled it off. The death ball with 2 bouncers left and right with Mundo and Zac. It was really hard to get in, and Infuse was just choked out in the end.
Yeah. I think the really good pick there was the Dr. Mundo. You don't expect it. That's the last thing you expect off lane.
Pocket pick, man.
But I think they intentionally left the Zac open.
They did. They baited it out.
Actually, they didn't ban out Zac.
Right.
And of course, because of the threat from the earlier game,
and they
it seemed like Infuse, okay, we'll leave Zac open, then we'll pull out the Poppy. But I think like the layers of mind games, IPT predict, okay, they're going to go for Poppy because we're going for Zac. Let's go Mundo.
Yeah, they were pretty sure that the first pick, Zac, was going to get countered, and they were able to create the draft.
Counter the counter.
Yeah, and the damage, though, again, I want to highlight Liar. He's really pushing in the team. Both games, he's been top damage, but...
He's the biggest contributor to Suzaku almost died.
Yes, the whole game.
Almost died.
Yeah, almost. So close.
And look at that, the damage Suzaku actually dealt more than both Hate and Light. So definitely the power of that Dr. Mundo pick. I don't think it's ban worthy. It's a very specific pick, but I think it's going to let other teams be more wary of these very easy. They're gonna pick this priority pick. We counter it because those counters have counters, and IPT has shown us that today. It's very impressive.
But so again, that was a very impressive win. But we will have an interview here with IPT. Take it away, Vulcan.
Hello guys, I'm with the mid laner of Imperium Pro team for the post-game interview. Welcome to the interview line. I'm Vulcan. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
So, what do you want to say to the viewers out there? How did you feel entering the summer split?
Well, entering the summer split, syempre, ina-expect namin as always. Every time na maglalaro kami ng PGS, syempre mag-number 1. But syempre, yung surprise ng TME nga, sobrang lakas nila ngayon. Well, second place naman kami, so... Ayun,
how does
okay
it feel
naman.
being second seed? Not good?
Well, actually, not so good, pero not so bad, syempre. Since TME naman yung nasa first place, so it's all good naman.
Okay. So, one question for you. Remember the roster changes. How does it feel playing with Shadow, one of your oldest comrades, again?
Syempre, nung nalaman ko na magkakampi na ulit kami ni Shadow, syempre medyo mas okay na napanatag na ako kasi medyo captain siya nung TME last split or all the previous splits eh. So, syempre mag-share na kami ng burden, ganun. Kaya parang medyo mas makafocus na ako sa laro ko.
How about for your Suzaku? Because JLC has been switched out also. How does it feel playing with a top laner like Suzaku?
Well, actually, it's super different kasi si JLC more of a team-oriented top laner. And Suzaku is more of a lane dominant split pusher yung playstyle niya. So, syempre, natutuwa ako siyempre kasi parang two different top laners, parehong top tier players pa yung nakakampi ko.
What's your favorite so far? Do you like a dominant top laner or a team-oriented top laner?
Well, actually, I want a mix of both.
Mix of both.
Yeah.
Ooh, so guys, there you have it. The mid laner of the Imperial Pro Team Live showing us a message entering the playoffs as the second seed. Before we close off, Light, do you have anything you want to say to our viewers?
Yes, thank you po sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa IPT, sa TME, and the PGS as a whole. Ayun, and shoutout nga pala sa mga taga Malabon, sa girlfriend ko, and kay boss, tita, tito. Ayun lang po.
Okay. Those were the closing statements from the mid laner, Imperial Pro Teams Live. Thank you very much to our viewers out there for watching the first match. Don't go away just yet. We have our second match catching up shortly between Jengski Esports against TME, Team Eagles, with a 100% win streak. Let's see if Jengski will break it off after a short break.
He's dealing, calculated. He does not have flash to escape. That Monsoon might actually save him. Just in time for the Baron. Suzaku might still go for something. The Baron is destroyed. Takes him down. Here comes Ival. Is still going for it. Lots of damage. And down. Fast jungler. Here comes 8-4 to clean up. Gets exhausted almost immediately. Light as well. Gonna do a lot of damage. XTX actually leaves his team behind. Panners gets a kill on Shadow. But this is going to be Sachi alone and cold, while Hate cleans up the rest of it too. Gets kidnapped into the middle of IPT. Seems like Hate will just go for a straight up cleanup here. Panda's trying to run away, but here comes Ivalis and Suzaku unrelenting in their pursuit. They'll still go for it.
That two
Suzaku almost dying, however. This might be the time when he falls. He's still alive after all of that. And Suzaku is just going to keep regenerating that health. Look at that very, very quickly. The time for IPT to retreat past Tom. Look at that. Ival is just going to finish. Look at the damage come from him. Now that he's reached late game, not even the stun gun from the Hibbers will be enough. It seems like he will just ignore the bombing. The Hibber just go straight for the kills. Let's bounce. Ival is go straight for it, but with
Suzaku,
Suzaku tanking the fountain. 4 shots from the fountain. Enough for him to still be alive. And it's going to be IPT still cleaning up the turrets here.
The disrespect of Suzaku.
They're just trapping and fused inside their own summoning platform. And look at that, they're not even dealing damage.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's just IPT securing and cementing the lead against Infuse. That is going to be the game right now.
Utah last defense from Infuse. Seals the deal. The last nail onto their forsaken coffin.